into the middle of the room and, be like, hey, I don't know you, but blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not one of those kind of people, but, but when I'm engaged in conversation, I don't just stand there like,
Yeah.
anymore.
Well,
So,
that's a good thing though, because since I started doing what I do, I go to events and I meet people, and I went to an event out in California where I knew no one at all. They credentialed me to come, and I spent the entire weekend with the ancient alien people and George Norrie, who I think is brilliant, as well as his producer and all kinds of people. And I made friends. I got interviews, the chance to talk, and I would never have had the nerve to do that when I was younger. You're right. You kind of have to evolve to that.
hmm yeah, an interview. I mean, I had my show for a long time. So, I mean, I
Yes.
interviewed most of those people, but I was at a conference and it was a bunch of the ancient alien people there and George Norrie was there. And, you know, he was sitting with some friends of ours that we were going to go sit with. And so it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to not go sit with my friends because George Norrie is sitting with them,
Right.
So we went and we spent like 3 hours sitting with George Norrie drinking wine. It was great.
He's nice.
He's a nice guy. And
He
I mean,
is a nice guy.
and even though you think he's not approachable, he's actually very approachable.
Yes. And he was so nice because he actually signed my credentials before, when I walked up with Tommy to say hello, and he picked up my tag and signed it, and I was like, those are my very first press credentials. You signed them. And I thought, well, hey, that's pretty cool. So, and, just things like spur of the moment nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. There's not enough of that
Yeah.
in the world.
No, I think it's kind of a dying breed, which is sad to even say that out loud.
I know. But, something else that helped is my dad made me take a public speaking class.
Mm-hmm.
And then told me that anytime you're nervous, picture everyone in the audience draining to use the bathroom. And they will never intimidate you again in your life.
I
I,
tried that. It didn't work so good. See them in their underwear. I
well,
mean,
the underwear didn't work
it
either.
didn't work for you. When
No.
I was in college, okay, so I was just working on that shy thing. I was studying industrial design at San Jose State. And so we would have a project, and then you would have to give a presentation to the group. And so you'd have to give a presentation to the entire class of this is your project, this was my concept and putting this design together, blah, 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 which meant you had to stand in front of a room of 30 to 60 people, which was like death.
Yes.
And I was just like shaking kind of. And this one friend of mine, he goes, just pick one person out in the room and talk to that
Mm-hmm.
person. Just don't
Yes.
even look at anybody else. Just talk to that person. And so I don't know if he did this on purpose, but he was standing in the very back of the room in the middle. And I just talked to him my entire
Perfect focus
presentation.
point.
And it was just like, thank God. And I made it through and I wasn't a bumbling fool. And I've moved on since there. But, that's probably one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever gotten as far as public speaking from anybody.
Well, I think it's brilliant. And thank goodness, right? Seriously.
Thank goodness, because I wasn't sure how I was going to make it through it at all.
And here
So,
you are.
and here I am. And it's just like I said, and now you kind of can't get me to shut up.
Well, I'm going to have to because we've got a break.
Well, okay.
But we will be back in 3 minutes, and I'm so excited. This is going to be a great show. Y'all enjoy these breaks, and we'll be right back.
You are listening to WPHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk radio.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 23 minutes after the hour. And we are back. Thank you so much for being here because I am pumped. I like Dr. Rita Louise. I am so glad that she's here joining us. And she has so much information. If you will go to her site, www.soulhealer.com, it's fascinating. You'll learn so much about so many different topics, all of them anomalous, all of them intelligently discussed. There are videos to look at and learn from. There's just all kinds of information for you. And you can schedule appointments with her there too. And Rita, welcome back.
Well, I'm glad to be back, Kat. So what kind of juicy thing are we going to get into in this segment?
In this section, I wanted to talk, since we were talking about being empaths and such as that, I would like to cover your information on psychic vampires, because I didn't even know that was a thing until fairly recently.
Well, it's a topic that I've been doing, I'm going to say, more research on just recently. So there are people, and we've all had this experience, where we're talking to someone and, after not that much time, our eyes just glaze over, or, we just feel like we're being drained, or they're sucking the life out of us, or they need to be the center of attention for everything. So all of the energy, because they're all about receiving energy. So they just want to be the center of attention of everything. And these people, and I'm not saying everyone, can be energy vampires, and it's not necessarily that these individuals are intentionally going, oh, look, she has good energy, let me go suck her energy. It's an unintentional thing, because they don't necessarily generate enough internal energy within themselves. And so they have to get energy from other people. And the reason I've been like researching it is that I have been having some issues personally with, and tell me, and I'm sure you've had this happen, where it's like you have an interaction with somebody and for some reason you can't get them out of your head. And you're thinking about it, or thinking about the problem, thinking about the situation, thinking. It's rolling around in your head. And it's kind of like, I don't even want to think about that person. I don't even like that person. And what I think I have uncovered, although I'm just putting it in a tentative place, is that those individuals have attached to us. And as we're sitting there thinking about them, either positive or negative, usually it's negative with an energy vampire, they're getting that energy from us. They're getting our mental energy from us, which kind of pisses me off.
Well, yeah.
And it seems like people that are empathic tend to be more of a target for individuals who have this parasitic behavior, because, people that are empaths tend to have much bigger and brighter energy. They are more open to listening to someone. So, if you have a friend and they're like, wah, wah, wah. Like I had a girlfriend years ago, and literally she would call me up. True story. She would call me up about 8:15 in the morning, and the fatal mistake would be, how are you this morning? The fatal mistake. Because then she would be like, oh, well, my period started yesterday and I got cramps and rah, 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 rah. And that would go on for like an hour or more.
Wow.
And, so I would just sit there and like work on other stuff. I would just like have the phone in my ear, and I just like really didn't pay attention. She was dating this guy. I love this guy so much. And he goes, oh no, I put the phone down and go wash dishes. And then I come back a couple of minutes later and go, oh, okay. And put the phone back down and take the garbage out. But in hindsight, now that I understand about this dynamic, she was an energy parasite and just would like suck the energy out of you.
Well,
energy vampire, yeah.
Is this something that is subconscious? Is this something that they're actively doing as a rule?
I mean, I think that there are some people that are aware enough and do it on a conscious level. For the most part, I think it's people that do it on an unconscious level because, there's something going on. One of the things that is that there's something going on. They need energy because there's some deficit in their character and in their personality, and the thing that I've been working on is, why do people like empaths allow themselves to be fed off of?
That was my next question.
Yeah. I don't totally have an answer to that. It seems like the word that keeps coming up over and over and over and over and over again is awareness and boundaries, and so if you're not aware of what an energy vampire is, then it's hard to sit there and go, oh, this isn't a healthy dynamic. And so it makes it almost impossible to have boundaries around it and say, you know what? I got to go wash my hair. So I'll talk to you later. Click. You can't you can't cut the interaction off if you don't realize